Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Ooh, I found that right in the nick of time. And what might that be, you ask? The topic for the experts today. I found it. Because it certainly wasn't kept up here. I'm not kidding y'all. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Look, I'm hedging my opportunities, not bets, my opportunities today by spraying some Sound Source 528 hertz meditation spray, which is infused with 528 hertz, the frequency of love, bringing balance and harmony to the body. Now, who can't use a little taste of that? I almost did it in my mouth. I want some harmony that bad. It has been an emotional skateboard, not a roller coaster, skateboard. The last couple of weeks, because we had the little baby 2 weeks ago. She's 2 weeks old today. Little Sade. Look at it. Oh, come back. Yeah. And right after that, many of you know, my husband Brian's. Oh, I hate when that happens. Stop. Fix yourself. Used to work. Turned the light on back in the 80s. I don't know how I was doing it. Anyway, my husband Brian, his mother, he was there. Here's the ironic part. He was in Michigan right after the baby was born to go to the funeral service of his elementary school best friend, Tracy. His mother passed away. And while he was there for that, over that week, or a couple of days, I forget, it was one day out of the 7, a couple of them, he was there with his parents. His mother went to dialysis on a Friday. She goes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. She did. And anyway, she contracted COVID that Friday. And so when she went in for her dialysis on Friday morning, they said, oh, no, you can't have dialysis today. Your temperature is up. We're going to check you for COVID. And she was positive. So they admitted her. By noon, that was at 5 a.m. By noon, she was on a ventilator. Just that fast. And then Brian went running out of here and went to Michigan. And then, a couple of days went by and they said, okay, we're going to take her off the ventilator tomorrow morning and see how she does. Now, anything could happen. So everybody, we're all like this. They take her off. She's sitting up, eating cream of wheat, talking. We're like, wow. Not surprised, because this woman has done that over and over and over. And just like that, what happened was, what we did not know is that she actually, you know how, because my mom, Lucille, my birth mom, she was on hospice. Uncle Walter was on hospice. I have 2 sisters. You might remember 3.5 weeks ago. 2 of them put on hospice for dementia the same day, within an hour of each other. One in California, one in Chicago. So anyway, if any of you have ever dealt with that, the stages of dying, there's one of the stages. First, they get like the pupils and stuff are like gray. My mom's were really gray. I know that death rattle is one thing. I think that's the last thing. But then after the eyes turn gray or weird looking, they pop up. Like my mom jumped up out of the bed the next day, talking about she wanted somebody go get some greens. I feel like cooking up a mess of greens. That's how she would say it. And we're looking at her like, girl, how you get up? Then we remembered what the sheet said, that was one of the stages. That's what happened with Brian's mom. All that sitting up and talking all that day. Matter of fact, it fooled the nurses and stuff, the doctors, because they said, well, it looks like tomorrow morning, you guys may want to check at somewhere downstairs when you come in, because she will most likely be out of ICU and in a regular room. Brian gets there. Oh, no, he was talking to me on the phone when his dad texted and said, you don't lollygag, get here. They're taking mom off of the life support, or they put her back on the ventilator thing. They're taking her off. No, they had not put her back on the ventilator. They said, we're taking her off everything. No insulin. She will get no more treatments, the kidney things, the dialysis. We'll just concentrate on making her comfortable. She could be gone in an hour, a day, or a week. It was more like 8 hours. And so I guess I just needed to vent, to be honest with you, because Brian came back yesterday. I've lost two mothers. I wasn't prepared. We had both been doing our own thing. He was strong for his brother and his father. I was strong for him. Then we get together, and it's a mess, you know. But we came up with a plan, and it worked all night, where we just smile and nod at the other one while they're going through their thing, and remembering this. Here we go. Here's the best thing that has come in the last 24 hours. And then I'm going to get the experts in here. Corey's here. My mother, Lucille, she went through 6th grade in school. But a lot of my Laurenisms, I stole them from her. Sure did. She told me I could have them. She said to us in the last 5 minutes of her journey, she said, I don't know what y'all standing around looking all sad, crying for. Lauren, that's why I chose that song by the Williams Brothers for you to sing. And the song was entitled I Am a Living Testimony. And the first stanza, the first verse was, don't cry for me. You need to be crying for yourselves. I'm in a better place. Y'all the ones stuck here. That's what I was looking at the lyrics. I was like, huh, okay. So she said, listen, she pointed to every one of my siblings and me. And she goes, I was there. I was in the delivery room when each of you was born. We had just finished being one person. And I heard you cry. And everybody in the delivery room was grinning. Everybody in there was grinning. But y'all, each one of y'all were crying your heads off. How do you know when you've lived a purposeful life, a blessed life? She goes, it's simple. When you're born, you're the one crying and everyone else around you is smiling. But when you're about to go where I'm going in just a few minutes, y'all will be all the ones crying and I'll be the only one smiling. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I combine that now with live every day as if it were your last, because one day you will be right. I combine it with remember that today will never be younger than we are right now again. And then what Les Brown told me once. He said, Lauren, get up every day and live full. That's the only way to make sure that when you die empty. Live full and die empty. When you can smile about and talk about it and feel grace, peace, inspired, gratitude, all kinds of wonderful things that you can only feel, then it's a blessing, okay? So, speaking of blessings, today, here's what we're going to talk about as I bring in the experts. Andrea sent something. Oh, that was yesterday. Okay. Here. Oh, shoot. I had that pulled up for a reason. Where you go? Hold on. See, that's the only thing. I have been loopy because I work. I cook. If you've been on my page, I cook. I got so much food. I had the garage refrigerators full. I'll be taking it all back to Michigan. This weekend, we go back for everything. Here's what we're talking about today, including you all out there, interactive, immersive. I wanted to know how the experts, what they have to say about how they are honoring their ancestors and just what they are doing to leave their marks as impressive ancestors themselves. Now, why am I bringing that up? Clearly, it has something to do with all that stuff that's moving through my space currently, but not just that. The other reason I thought this was a good topic was because people that coach with me have known it's been about 4 or 5 months where I've been bringing in all these these fresh ideas regarding the great outpouring is what we're calling it now. We're in the Catholic Church and Lutheran Church, it's called the Year of Jubilee. And we are in it all of this year and a portion, I think it's a quarter of next year. Don't quote me on that. It's just a download I got about it. So anyway, prosperity, abundance, blessing, and increase, all four of those coming to move in. They don't want to visit anymore. They want to move in with all of us who are dedicated to easing suffering in the world. So here's what I was told when all this began. Remember, a lot of us are being fast-tracked right now. Not sidetracked, but fast-tracked. A lot of my coaching clients that have been here for the last couple of years, when they first got here, I said, you're part of a new group. They told me you were coming, and you're all being fast-tracked. So here's why I know this. A lot of aha moments. A lot of light bulb moments for all of us. Some of you most likely have already seen it happening. All kinds of things being manifested on your behalf. Everything's working for us, all of us. So this is what, and there's something to this. So pay attention. It's a 3-part blessing. Remember that it is a need to know when it's time to grow situation. Every day. Need to know when it's time to grow. So when you go, oh, I never thought of it like that. Oh, man, something swoops in. So you go, need to know because it's time to grow. And then you do this. And I was like, the prayer hands? What's up with that? Here's what I was told. Because need to know, time to grow, the things that we are waking up to. For instance, setting our intentions. One of the new things is that's the last domino. You set the first one, you set the first one down first. The last one down first and the first one down last. And look for the promises. Every time something happens that's a part of this thing this year and next year, you're going to find yourself butted up against one of the promises. This one is the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I'm like, okay. So last thing, and then we're getting them in here. When you do this, need to know, time to grow, and you do the prayer hands, guess what happens? This is what they told me. All of the ancestors to the left, the ones that were here before us, and all of the ancestors to the right headed this way from the future to this very spot, Earth. Who was that? Just a movie director. I told him I am not doing a horror movie. I know. Brian's like, honey, look at you turning down movies. Okay, I know. I'm not picking up. So anyway, they pour, those ancestors from both sides, they literally, what Maya said, they pour their prayers into your journey. And when I felt this download, I felt like I was being held inside the eye of a storm, the eye of a hurricane, where it's quiet inside there and everything else is spinning around you. And they said, peace. The eye of the storm, of the hurricane, is the place you're supposed to be. I said, really? Ding, ding, light bulb came on. Time to know, because it's time to grow. Okay? So take that with you and pay attention. Pay attention. Nothing should shock you. This is what they said. They will pass you by. They will pass us by, those of us who are surprised. So when the doorbell rings and you look through the peephole and it's prosperity and his 3 friends out there, you better treat him like you do the Amazon guy when he drops off the package you were expecting at 2:00. You better smile, nod, and say thank you, right? And be prepared for it. Don't be surprised, because surprised people squander blessings. And when you squander blessings, like The Alchemist said, the book, they become your curse. And there you go. A little extended monologue, but nonetheless needed. Very much needed. So, without further ado, let's get the experts in here, starting with Corey, Emily, Oracle of Apollo, and Andrea Harrison. Here they come, y'all. Okay. Okay. How's everyone?
Good.
Splendid.
Splendid. I like splendid. That's a step above good. Anybody better than splendid? Thumbs up.
Two of them. Two of them.
Okay, using sign language. Very good. Very good. I want to change this out real quick. There we go. Okay. Oracle. How are you? And Emily, how are you?
Fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. And what am I going to use? How can I upstage fantastic? Fantabulous. Nothing like one of those ghetto words. I'm kidding. Who just left? Oh, Oracle. She'll be back in. She's walking around on her phone, and she's wrapped up like she's in an igloo. She's out on an island. Did y'all know that? She lives on an island now. Oracle, what's that island you live on now?
Oh, I have not announced it publicly.
That's because I just did.
No, I mean, I haven't announced my location publicly at all.
Oh, can make up a name.
The Island of Misfit Toys.
And you haven't announced it. Interesting. Okay,
No.
okay. You like it, I love it. Corey, I'm
Hello,
man.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like it needs to be like every day instead of every month or something. However, less like frequent or non-frequent this visit is.
I miss it when we don't have it. I will say that, and so do the viewers. 743 are here today. Can we break 1,000, please, y'all? I don't know why I have to. Let me just put it up. Seems like all I have to do to make that happen. Maybe I'm manifesting it. Maybe we're manifesting it. Is all I have to do is this. Where is it? Okay, no, that's not it. Oh my goodness, there it is. Please share this out right now with one other person. Within 5 minutes, we'll be over 1,000, just like that. Calls to action, they work. So, experts, I took a little of the time, so I want to get right to it. You heard the topic. Interesting, yes. First of all, I guess I should establish, is there anyone here who doesn't buy into ancestral anything? I don't want to assume. Okay, so everybody, of course, your grandma was an ancestor, at this and the other. But there are a lot of gifts in different spiritual things that come down through the ancestors. There's also generational curses. I want to change that. I don't like that there's something about that phrase, generational curses. I kind of said it right next to this one. This one really needs to be changed out. Somebody, one of y'all, come up with it. Somebody said the other side of the aisle, but I don't think that quite works. What I'm getting at is I hate this phrase. Oh, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to play devil's nothing.
That's cringy. Yeah.
Who came up with that? That's just like that. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This guy, the prophet, he said that's not even that's the other side. That's the negative. That's the evil forces. That's their thing. See no, hear no, speak no. They tricked us into saying it for them. And there's a lot of things like that. Words that deceive, I call them. So I want to get to the ancestral part. Dominique, I know you have a lot. Oracle has always had that in her work. I've heard her speak on it. Emily, I'm pretty sure I've heard you talk about it. Andrea, I think you most likely have on your show and stuff too, right? Talk about ancestry before?
Not.
Talk about your mother.
Yeah, but
ain't she an ancestor?
I guess she's still here.
She's still an ancestor, though. Do you have to be dead to be an ancestor? Huh?
Well, I mean, I guess that's how I've always looked at it.
I just thought it was someone who came before you.
That's how I perceive it.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you better believe me, since I have been newly installed as our family's patriarch, a few weeks ago when my sisters went to hospice. Yeah, my nieces and nephews started a thread with me in it, sitting at the feet of the patriarch. Whatever, you gonna run if you sit at these feet. I'll tell you. But anyway, so who here, by a show of hands, knows anything about your ancestors' story? Any piece at all? 10%, 5%, 80%? Anybody? Okay. Now, how do you feel about ancestors? Because I just disproved my own theory of I thought that ancestors were people that came before us. But in the download, they said ancestors coming this way from the future to this place. They will be, they're in this bloodline. So, just the messenger. The responsibility. Let's talk about the responsibility. And I get it on both sides. I really do, but I'll withhold mine until the very last. And so who would like to start? I would like each of you experts and those of you out there who feel so inclined to please drop in the comment section. On a scale of 1 to 10, how seriously do you take the role that you have of where you sit in your family lineage currently, which means you're in the middle of both sides. You're in the middle. You're walking this earth. You know, there are some from that side that aren't, and there's some that are. There are some, we just had a baby in our family that just showed up right when somebody left the family. So they're coming. Right. So looking at it like this, and the reason I'm going to say this is one of the other downloads was this. It's an equation. And it went like this. It said, to weigh the current situation you find yourself within, simply nod to the front of you, because that is where you are in the now. And remember that everything you're dealing with today is a temporary reality. That was the first piece. So the key word in that was weigh. So, of course, my ADH ass, I went through all the scales. The one in the doctor's office with the thing they put on your head, the one in the grocery store that's a basket. I ended up with the one where, like in your science class, because you have two plates or whatever, the silver things. And then it said, then once you've done this, weigh it against your temporary reality, look to the right, to the future, and through insight, take a look at your heart's desires. That is where they are sitting. All your heart's desires are right over there. I go to prepare a place. Everything is already done. It is already done. I know that we're manifesting now. I really do. I believe most of the things that I need for the immediate future and maybe in a little bit past then are already here. So when you have done that, now you turn back here. What do you see? So I'm looking at the scale and it said, what do you get? Is it overweighted on one side? Is it underweighted on the other side on one side? Or is it a combination of both? And both was capitalized and underlined and had 2 exclamation points. So there's a clue in both. Want to know what it points to? A little bit of both is balance. Because if it's, so if I'm giving too much to the future and ignoring the now, or not honoring the ancestors of the past, or vice versa, that's one. Those are 2 things. Or did I just see balance? So things are exactly as they should be. So using that equation, now look at where you are in the now as the person holding the cards, if you will. And now, last thing, because here's what we're doing. We're going through things like, who's going to be responsible for this now? Who's going to be responsible for the family recipes that are in Brian's mother's hands? Her handwriting. Gonna be me. I'm the only one that cooks. And I took the time to find out all her favorite ones. and to also ask questions about things that were a little in what do you call it? Not legible. Something spilled on it when she was cooking. I did all that to get them all right. So that's my part. That kind of thing. There used to be family Bibles in a lot of families. Andrea, you might remember that. Remember those big family Bibles? Dominique, I know Spanish families used to have, or I don't know, everybody might have. We don't have that anymore. So anyway, with those little tidbits of the keeper of the thing, every family has one. If there's a family reunion, they know how to put that booklet together. So and so was born at this. They were on the road going from here to there. They stopped over at cousin so and so's house, and she had the baby. Right. So there you go. Who would like to begin? Because it's a pretty deep thing, but I think we can have a lot of fun with it. Who wants to? Okay, Dominique, Oracle of Apollo, because I see you looking. Are you waving at one of them right now? Because she might have a couple of them staying over at the house today, for all we know.
Well, this whole week has actually been. I had my mom here at the Island of Misfit Toys, and this whole I can't even with that name right now. And
You need a T-shirt.
we did. I know. I don't even know why that came through, but that's so funny. So she stayed here to get some R&R. There's some things going on behind the scenes that are ending that I don't want to air right now.
Okay.
But she needed some mental clarity, and so all week we drummed for the ancestors this week. I built a fire every night. We petitioned them. We gave offerings. We used tobacco. Tobacco is one of those energies that the smoke carries your prayers to the ancestors, and we invited them in for clarity.
Native Americans do that as well.
Right. And
okay.
I'm indigenous, and that's Taino, which is a type of Indian.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody.
So we prayed for those ancestors to come in and bring clarity, and by day 5, they did. And so the offerings we give are always humble. It's not like, I don't know what people perceive working with your ancestors look like, but we're not like chopping chicken heads off or anything like that.
No, they're people just like us, but you know,
give flowers, we give incense, we give tobacco, we give fire, we give air, we give love, we give healing. So that was really astronomical on our end, and it came through a dream first. And then my mom got the full clarity that she needed, and it was crystal clear. And it the 5D lines up with the 3D, and then it becomes physically incarnated. But here's the thing I want to say about ancestors is that there's a time and a place where they will come visit you. And just to say that my aunt who passed away last year came to visit my mom, and when she visited, my mom said, "No, don't go to me. Go to this person that needs help." And I said, "Mom, you're the one asking for the help. You're the one praying for the help. When your ancestor comes to visit you, it's because they have enough energy now, stored energy, to come visit you through the line, and you have free will to receive their help. They're bringing it to you. But if you say no, they don't go to the place that you asked them to go. They just go back to whatever the next thing on their agenda is. They have things to do the way we have things to do. So it's important that when we ask for help, that we take it.
Yeah.
and we receive it. And some, even on earth, sometimes we just like we ask for help, and then it arrives and we're like, oh, who am I? Who am I to receive ancestral help, divine intervention? So that's really important.
I agree. Divine intervention. And something else too. My mother, and I'm telling you, I don't care what nobody say. I did not doubt her, because she said to me in that last 5 minutes, first of all, she said, "Remember when you knocked on my door 27 years ago, you found me? I told you I am guaranteed that I will die a happy woman now." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "I told you." She goes, "I'm happy, right?" And she said, "Now let me tell you something. Soon as I get settled, put my things away and all that." She acts like she's checking into the Hilton, right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where the nearest throne room is, and I'll be headed there, son, so that I can begin interceding on your behalf.
That's right.
That's what she said to me. She was gone 5 minutes later, and this career started 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, I was booked first two speaking gigs and ain't looked back since. Never worked another job since. Never. And so I know that much. I know that much. Now, here's another thing. You guys talk about this. What about anybody here ever had a family member who was waiting to transition? They wait on somebody to arrive and things like that.
Yeah. They wait for things to fall into place. And like you said, they go steps ahead of us. That way they can cut through course. Sometimes the things that we pray for, we ask for, we don't really recognize that the job is already in alignment with someone else in our DNA. And we have to wait for their transition so that they can do the work on the other side so that it can manifest in the 3D. And speaking of, I also had a roller coaster week because I am a grandma officially as of Tuesday.
A grandma?
Yeah, I became a grandma.
Wait.
Shane, my stepson that I raised since he was 4.
Oh, okay. Because I was
AKA
like,
my bonus son, because he's not my stepson. I'm not stepping him. My bonus son had his first baby, Creed Adonis McCullough.
Ooh, that's a strong name.
That's what I
Love
said.
the name. Love the name.
I do too. Creed Adonis.
Very
Man. Somebody gonna say to him that famous line, you even cuted in your baby pictures when he get because of that name. So is he as cute as that baby? I just love babies. Yeah. You too, Emily. I saw you get all buttery faced. Future mom. Are you gonna be a future mom?
Probably. I don't know.
Yes, you are. You are. You're gonna have. I think you're gonna have one of each, and they're gonna be adorable. Didn't I predict something about your husband once?
Me?
I was probably talking behind your back, but I did.
Oh yeah, I don't have a husband, so I guess you
I
are.
know the future one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a lot for my love life.
I have?
There are just moments that make me laugh.
Thank you. I want to thank you for that Oracle of Apollo. And I always have to go directly over to Andrea because
because of the contrast.
Because of the contrast. The Oracle of Apollo is
I'm shamanic. I mean, that's just where my lineage is coming from. So
yes. And I will say this. One thing I learned when my brother-in-law took his life right before COVID, a couple weeks before COVID, he had that CRP thing, the suicide disease, the chronic pain. And I said, whenever somebody passes, I take something that I refer to as the essence of their journey, that I can take with me to make my life a better example for others. So with my brother-in-law, Joe, he used to keep a baby food jar filled with all the screws from his back surgeries, right? Because we all thought he was crazy and making it up. But after hearing the last voicemail where he demanded, please have an autopsy. I can't take it. I just can't do it anymore. I know this is a cowardly way, blah, blah, blah. But his voice was quivering and the sound of pain, which I didn't know existed. I thought screams were. This was something much quieter, but much louder, if that makes any sense. And that was when I decided from now on, if anything is ever real to a person, then I know that for them, it is real. So just like when I was a kid and little kids in the foster home were telling their caseworkers or whoever they could get to listen that there's a monster under my bed, but they were 3 and 4. We knew it, but we knew the monster lived down the hall, last door on the right. The little kids just thought it came from under their bed because when they opened their eyes, there he was. So when somebody tells you something, and they believe it's real, then it's real to them.
Yeah.
Real to them. And something else I was told to tell everybody to start doing. You know that, a little off topic, but do it anyway. You know how people go, when somebody shows you who they really are, believe them the first time.
Yeah.
And you guys go, now, by a show of hands, when you hear that, do you automatically think it's a negative? that they're saying when they show their ass, believe them, because that's what most people.
It's a capacity thing. It's how much capacity this person has.
Yeah, but most people, when they use it, see, that's why when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. You know, they betrayed you, they lied or whatever. But why don't we automatically apply that on the other side too? When somebody shows you that they are of service to the world, that they're easing suffering, that they're this, why don't you believe them the first time? Think about that one. There's a lot of ones. There's a lot of things like that we take just for the negative side, but we don't apply it to all the other sides because there's more than two. There's more than two, especially with the truth. There's the side that person tells, the side the other tells, and the side they both leave out because they both want you to believe their side. So
I think just mostly probably because we're living in a time and a culture of like clicks are a currency, and people think that like you get more clicks from focusing on negative. You know, like that might be the reason. Not to say that's the only reason, but that could
no,
be
you're right,
a huge reason for why.
Corey. That's why I love you. That is absolutely brilliant, and you're right. How many of you remember when you're in grade school, they did the old whisper down the lane thing in the classroom to show us how rumors got started?
That's the first time I ever heard the phrase "go suck an egg."
Go suck an egg.
It started as one thing and ended
up with go suck an egg. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. That's exactly right. And how negative things travel. I have always said if you put a person giving away stems of roses at a corner to people that just are passing by, and then you have a cat fight across the street with two African American sisters with big old gold hoops that comes out, okay, and the whole corner smell like weed. I guarantee you, everybody from the church gonna be over there claiming they're trying to break the fight up.
The roses are in a frenzy, like the fight is, and people love a frenzy.
Most people will be suspicious of the free flower and drawn to the BS across the street. Same reason you can be on a highway and be stuck in traffic for 3 hours. You think it's a 9-car pileup, and you get up there and it's a flat tire because everybody had to stop. Anybody dead? Everybody had to stop and gawk. That's why people watch burning buildings and stuff like that. Stand there gazing for hours. So, okay. So, Corey, ancestor, do you take it seriously? Does it mean anything to you? Is there a responsibility on your shoulders? What's it like for you? And then Emily, you, then Andrea. I decided to break up the little contrast after all.
It's very like pretty, it's like ambiguous for me. It's because I know for my family, the only other people that share my ancestors all the way, my same mother, same father, are my siblings, and none of us have ever been down the roads that we're down, and on both sides of our family, like our moms or our dads, our mom or dad, neither one of us, like none of our siblings are like us. Like there's so many differences in us, and I don't and then thinking about like no one in the family line from what I've seen has been anything like what I am. No, on my dad's side or on my mom's side, and I don't see anybody else being like my sisters. I don't see anybody else being like my brother. So it's all about what we're making the impact for what our future ancestors are. Like you were saying, and this is the stuff I get so fascinated with: time travel and what the future looks like.
Yes,
like, and I talk about it on my podcast all the time. And you guys have all probably heard it when I say like what you're saying now. You're saying to who listens to this show when they find this recording 20 years from now because they wanted to know what their ancestor was really into in 2025. This is your timestamp, your time capsule. You're speaking directly to that person. What are you saying to them?
Yes. Yes. See, y'all better don't go to sleep on Corey Castle. I done told y'all. Just like Robert Brooker, you better wake up. Huh? Wake up. Thank you, Corey. Uh, really interesting stuff. I just love it. I really, really do. It's so interesting, and I get it. You know, let's like when they said, we don't make mistakes. That's just what we do. All that stuff to keep y'all shit interesting. That's all it is. Right. And they told me to say it just like that. You can say it just like they said. We can cuss. Right. So that was really poignant. What Corey had to say there, because here's the thing: I know a lot of people right now live currently who are responsible for removing dams from their family line. Those generational things. They really are. And a lot of people talk about it and preach it and all this, but I know some who have actually done it. But you'd be shocked at how many don't even realize that that's exactly what they've done. They just see certain things stop. You see? So I think that's part of the ancestral responsibility, that we share those things with each other. If I had any siblings that did anybody, maybe I just don't see it yet. But anyway, there's that. Emily, what about you? Now, you come from, your parents are first or second generation?
Like
from another country.
Second and third.
Second and third.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I bring that up, because there's probably still a lot of story and whatnot inside of your,
There's a lot. Yeah.
so which speaks to the ancestral everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've always been curious about it too. And I took my curiosity like a bit more serious the last few years, doing a lot of like intentional ancestral healing. I believe that like we inherit gifts from our ancestors, but I feel like a lot of the times they are found through transmuting a lot of the pain that they experienced. So I've been doing a lot of work personally to heal certain things that I've noticed within my family, pain that sits and exists, healing. I've been working with, I have a medical intuitive that I work with, and she helps me heal and like release like trapped emotions and things from like 10 generations back. And like,
Wow.
for me as a human, it's hard to like fathom. I don't know who my ancestors are. 10, maybe I do, but like here, like it's like, but I feel like I just did this breathwork ceremony too on the eclipse a week and a half ago. And that was probably the most intense thing I've ever experienced in terms of healing that kind of pain that's so deep. But yes, I love that work, and I actively take responsibility for that in my life today, because I know that like for what's to come, I want to mindfully bring like good things. I feel like I've just been affected so much as a kid without even recognizing. Like my papa passed away when I was months old, like a baby. I didn't know him at all. Yet I feel like I know him so well because of what I've inherited from him. And I've communicated with him as well, with him being on. I ask for understanding because I want to understand the pain, and like what I know that he had a lot of pain in his life. And I feel like I experience that pain still while he's gone. And so I heal that stuff.
You heal that stuff.
Yeah.
See, That's what I love about these types of conversations. I'm actually considering having a dinner party. I used to do a parable dinner party with my friends, where almost like a friendsgiving, but just whenever. And everybody would bring, they would send me their parable, and I would put little cards, and you wouldn't get your own. It would be on the plate, and then we would sit down and discuss what we thought it was all about. And I love that. It's a really great way to have insightful conversation. And insightful is very important to me, more now than ever, because insight is internal, inside, with all those other in words: instinct, intuition, intellect, inspiration. They're all within.
Mhm.
And what I love about insight, when we share insight with each other, is because insight, in my world anyway, I it was it, insight is where things are hidden in plain sight.
Mm.
Now wrap your mind around that one. What I mean by that is, God, in my journey, has placed things that the enemy, the negative force, has been looking for. I know he had it when he left the station. It was somewhere. I know where could he have hidden it. Right. Things that are pretty much invisible to other things that do not serve us. So anyway, inside of insight, I found other things that are gifts, like embellishments, extra pieces that go with it or something. Oh, you can upgrade, right. So if it were iPhones, I went from an 11 to a 16 because something was hiding in plain sight within insight. But I had to learn, this is where all the things that I learned, they said, this is where the 10 Commandments live. This is where the Beatitudes live. This is where Farmer's Almanac lives. Confucius says, Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss, anything that is principled, anything that is character building, fundamentals, things you cannot break but find yourself broken against if you don't want to follow them and put them in place as support beams along your journey. So I find that very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, what about this piece as far as honoring our ancestors? For instance, in my birth family, when I first got on the scene the first day, those who were local, the little ones especially, because they're looking at me like, who is he really? But as soon as they saw these fingers, the thing that I was like always ashamed of, I would sit on my hands and stuff when I was a little kid. Why are your fingers so fat? Well, I found out that they show up like this once every 4 generations. And 2 people in the family, one female and one male, always has it. And my niece Ebony was the female, is the female. And they were like, look, he's got the fingers. And we know the stories are the people all the way back through slavery that had this digital clubbing were creative. One was a carpenter, one was a poet, wrote, just very interesting things. So I use that. I love when I'm in front of doctors and they're watching my hands, because there's 2 ways to get this. Either your kidneys are shot or you can have the genetic one. I have the genetic one, which doesn't come with all that side effect, but they'll be looking at my fingers, right? And I'll purposely do I just don't know what. And they're like cats with the red dot. It's very interesting. So there is a history piece that I have carried forward. Makes me feel special instead of weird. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's go to Andrea. So, Andrea, and I figured out the thing about from the future. We're the ancestor of the people from the future. There it is. Okay, doke. So, Andrea, what do you want to leave that will be there? You just published your book, your first book. And that what is this? Where is she? Someone asked. Here it is. Tell them what we're talking about. How, if we're doing a good enough job honoring what the ancestors have provided us, story and whatnot from the past, and then how we become the right kind of ancestor for those who are coming from the future, the responsibility. So, Andrea, what do you say about all this?
So with 2 minutes left on the show.
I know. Well, no, we're actually going to the top. We're going to the top of the hour this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, let me just say this. We can coexist. We all have our own walks in life, and mine just happens to be with the Lord.
Wait a minute. You ain't getting away with that. What you trying to say? Like mine ain't?
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm saying that.
Wait a minute. You talking about? I just want to say I ain't hear nobody say they worship the devil up in here. I ain't heard nobody say.
We all have different paths. We all choose to do things differently. I respect it. I'm just saying that because from my perspective, what I want to share, and I took some notes while I was here.
Scared of you, but
as for me leaving my mark on the world, I come to understand that true legacy isn't about making my name great, but it's about making God's name great.
Nobody said no. Wait a minute. First of all, who in here thinks that legacy means your name? I'm asking.
This is my. You asked me. You asked me like 30 minutes ago to share something. So
I know, but what I'm saying is
what I wanted to share.
But wait a minute. But there also needs to be a point of clarification when you say, I'm probably, because you kind of set yourself in a lane, but now we know there's another one that's in that lane too. Corey, he raised his hand. So I'm just saying, sometimes we're more similar with others than even we are willing to believe. We just talk, because the thing is, I don't think there's going to be.
Why does this bother you?
It doesn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't bother me. See, and that's another thing. What am I doing that makes it sound? No, I'm passionate about it. But I ain't calling nobody out of their name or anything like that. But what I am pushing towards is this. I think we have a responsibility to each other, first and foremost, to take labels and names and symbols off the table when we are discussing journey experience.
But this is my journey.
I know, but it is also everybody else's journey too. And
right, but I'm only talking about mine because I don't know theirs. So I'm only talking about mine. But I don't have any issues with anybody. I just want to share what was on my heart. One of the things, because I've really, like I said earlier, I've really never talked about ancestors. I've only, I've gotten enlightened on some of the things that you said today, especially when I said, when you mentioned my mom, because as far as ancestors, I've always thought of ancestors of people in the past, people that have already passed on, not somebody who's still here. So you enlightened me on that. I just have, I guess, a slightly different perspective. I know that traditionally ancestors refer to people in the family lineage who have passed on or, have passed away, or those who came before us in previous generations, who are no longer living. But I understand from a cultural and broader perspectives, that many today use the term more fluidly to include living elders. For me, I honor my ancestors by, in the term that we're talking about today, by continuing their legacy of faith and building on spiritual foundation. What I started to say is that how I'm honoring my ancestors, leaving my mark, is like, number one, breaking cycles that they didn't have the language or the liberty to confront. So my ancestors, they endured, they survived, they sacrificed so that I could have a voice, so that I could have a choice and a platform, which I have now. And so by showing up boldly and healing publicly, because if you know my story, you know my journey, Dr. Lauren, you know that I'm loud, right, and very authentic and transparent and vulnerable. So by showing up boldly and healing publicly and leading unapologetically, I'm doing what they couldn't. but it's what their prayers made room for, right? So I feel like I'm their answered prayer in motion. The other thing is that I'm making purpose loud in a generation addicted to performance. So by anchoring my work in faith, obedience, and authenticity, I'm not just I'm not just producing content, right? For me, I'm building kingdom culture. So I'm not chasing trends. I'm creating legacy. And my voice is a lighthouse for hidden leaders who are tired of pretending and ready to rise. And so
Okay.
that's what my work is.
Okay.
And the
So,
third thing,
okay.
the third
Huh?
thing is that I'm turning my obedience into a blueprint or a pink print. So every book, every message, every session, every live, um, every live that I host, it all becomes a part of a spiritual archive. So, like evidence that once, my ancestors, someone once dared to show up and shine when it was easier to stay silent. Because that's something that I've learned about my family. Not telling, we don't want to. We don't want to say this. We want to keep this a secret. What happens in the house stays in the house. You don't go out and tell your business.
That's the biggest thing, secrets.
Right. So I'm leaving breadcrumbs
Okay.
of boldness that future generations, hopefully, prayerfully, will follow.
Well, you're doing the same thing the ones before you did.
Right.
And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Do your best. No one should have to tell you. Like Maya says in that Just You Right piece. You don't have to ask anybody. She goes, that empty chair. I would imagine my grandma, what would she say? And she would
Yes.
say, you sister, you don't need me to tell you what's right. Just do right. It may not be profitable. It may not be expedient, but it will satisfy your soul.
Right.
It
Yeah.
will provide bodyguards, protection that bodyguards can't give you. Now, as we get out of here, we're a little over, but I don't care because the truth is divine. And I want to say this: when you said the thing about I'm not about it, my legacy and is not about preserving my name, but God's name. And I'm saying He told me you don't got to worry about preserving my name. I got that covered. What I need you to do is preserve my works.
Right. And that's what I'm doing.
That I ain't not talking about mine now. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's the thing I'm talking about. When people, there are lots of, what's the one thing with some religiously based people, because we all started there at the springboard, most of us anyway, is this. How when I use some of the terminology, you jump right. You see, that's what I'm like. Well, that's mine too.
Well,
Because
you have to understand one thing, Dr. Lawrence, that when you asked me certain questions throughout the show, I made notes, right? And so I wasn't able to respond at the time. So when you talked about, I loved what you said about Oracle and myself and why you like to have us on the show. And so my response at that time, right, is out of respect that we can both coexist.
yes,
We can both be on this show, right?
Because-
We have our own walks.
because let's go to the name. If we spend more time naming those things that do not serve us, those things that use a butterfly flight pattern in our journeys, we can't catch them because we don't have a net. Okay. I always use the example. Hi, Gail. How are you? Crappy. Why? Everything. What everything? Those people. What people at my job ain't said nothing. No solution-based information in there at all. Seeking
Right.
you will find, but you got to be knowing. You got to know a little bit about what you're seeking. Look for the promises. Look for the promises. So what I'm getting at is this. As we get out of here, you guys, I really would love to see us all, especially during this year. My word of the year is grace. Is to extend it to as many of us, meaning people, as possible.
I appreciate that.
And really take a beat, take a pause, and see if there is a way to respond that brings us together or points to things that are similar instead of tears us apart or makes it seem like things are different. Because I know the higher power that I serve That's why I can call it higher power. Even AA people got that right. Call it the doorknob if you need to, but acknowledge that there's something greater than yourself. Then you start naming things. You see, because when you name things, they now can serve you, because you must call them forth. You must speak it by name. And when you talk about God, God's word, God didn't say his name came first. God said in first there was the word. The word was first, not a name. So the word is a blueprint if you refer to the Bible as the word, or whatever is your learning piece. Dr. Seuss, whatever. Right. So I think that we should all do this. It's just share these kinds of things with each other, so that we have done ourselves a solid and each other a solid, to remind us that we are the carriers, like the Ark of the Covenant, like anything that leaves a marker. I don't believe, final thought, I don't believe that 100 years from now, people will say, oh, yeah, Lauren Michaels Harris. Oh, I don't believe they'll be able to pick my face out of a lineup. I don't even know what I looked like 5 years old and younger. So I couldn't even do that. How can they do it 100 years from now? But they might do what many have done over the generations. And that is, remember that story the old folks used to tell, the elders used to tell? That parable that said, if you do this, da 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 da. Those are the things that live on, the truth. Because the truth is the only thing in this universe that cannot be changed. And it will never change on us. So lead with your truths. Lead your truths. And when you get down to that door on the right that we're all going to get buzzed out of when this journey called life is finished, just make sure you're not caught looking for something you can feel. Because all you did was bring things that you could see hanging on the walls and inside the photo albums to remind you of all the things you can touch, all the things you acquired. But didn't you? Because if you didn't take anything with you for that last moment, that 11th hour that you can feel, they told me chances are, well, you most likely didn't leave anything for the world that is coming to feel when they get here. That's why we've never seen a U-Haul attached to a hearse. Everything you can touch stays here. Everything that you can feel can go with. So take that with you and make sure you help give everybody you touch something they can feel. Okay? Name things. Make everything a place. All the things we can't touch, love, joy, compassion, empathy, they're not things. They're places. They are right where you need them to be when you need them. Take that with you, y'all. Experts, I just adore y'all. I really do. You all make me a better person. You really do. And I thank you for that. I feel completely blessed to have all of you in my life. So we'll see you next month. Thank you, all of you that have tuned in today. Have those discussions in your families about ancestry and make a decision and have a conversation with yourself and what you ascribe to be greater than you about what kind of ancestor you want to be known as one day, because we all gonna be one day. All right, I'll see y'all next month. Okay, thank you so much. Keep changing the world, you guys. You're the absolute best, and I absolutely love you. Anybody got anything real quick before we leave?
We love you too.
I received that. Thank you all. And thank you, all of you, for the condolences for my husband, Brian, and his family. We truly, truly honor you. For nothing makes you feel better in times like this than the love. Absolutely, the love. So, okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow, God willing, out on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central for another episode, another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. Tomorrow, we have who? Wait a minute. Hold on, you guys. Oh, Brian Big Country Conwell. He's a para athlete. And you're going to love him. He's been here several times. One of my brothers in service. Dominique, there's another one. Thank you for your service. Don't let the screen door slam, y'all. You know what I tell you, and I'll say it again right here. Dr. Lauren loves you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. See you guys. Bye, everybody. Love you guys. Emily, you look so cute today. Bye, you guys.
Thanks.
All of you do, and I love your little outfit, Dominique and Andrea. Thank you. You have a spine of a warrior, and I absolutely adore it. That's why I'm gonna keep pushing. That's why I'm gonna keep pushing, because I want some of it. And Corey, my brother from another mother, I honor you. Thank you so much. You guys get out there, be the best you can be, and be the blessing you'd like to see. Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign.